Welcome, everybody, to Walk the Plank. It's week 6 of our edition here that takes a deep dive into the week that was in the Perry Athletic Department and the week that is coming up. Joined here, as always, by Gene Winters, my co-host. Thanks for being here, Gene.
Yeah, again, another exciting week. As seasons end, postseasons begin. Some are, midway through their season, so it's a nice mix of fall sports at the moment.
Yeah, we're certainly packed. These next couple of weeks, we will finalize up pretty much all of our regular season stuff, and we'll have teams transitioning into postseason play. And one of our teams that will be doing that is girls soccer, and we're joined by their head coach, Mr. Rich Stavar, in his 21st season here at the helm of the Perry girls soccer program. Coach Stavar, thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure.
I figured it was. Thank you for taking the time. And let's talk a little bit about this season. We play tonight at home against Berkshire. We're taping this Thursday morning. That's October 2nd. We play tonight against Berkshire. How's the season been going? I know we've been battling some injuries here over the last 2 or 3 weeks, but overall, how would you surmise things going so far?
Well, we haven't been at full strength for more than one half the entire year. We're still not at first half. At times, we were missing 5 starters. I think one half we played without 6.
Yeah.
So injuries have definitely been an issue. We're 3-7-3. We're probably the best 3-7-3 team that you're ever going to see.
Yeah.
We struggled a little bit with putting the ball in the net. We've let in 1 goal in the last 9 halves, and we're 1-1-3 in those games. So
3 ties.
3 ties.
1-1-3 for those out there who don't know what that 3 at the end is. Soccer in high school, regular season anyway, can tie at the end. And so, Gene put together a stat. I think we've either won or we haven't lost in the last 4 matches. We've either won or tied, I believe. So,
Yep.
So are we starting to get a little bit healthier as we approach this postseason run? And, I agree. I think our record isn't necessarily indicative of the type of team we have. And do we have the ability to surprise some people here as we start our postseason trek?
Yeah, I think so. We're getting a little bit closer. We're definitely healthier than we were a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
But we're getting a little bit closer to finding the net, or at least finding the net more consistently than we have in the past. We've got a lot of young kids on the team. There's been a tremendous amount of growth. If you haven't been around to watch a game, it can, even if you don't know what's going on, it can be pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
The kids play fast, and it's a little bit different than it's been in the past. But yeah, I think we can probably surprise a couple of people down the stretch.
And as you're battling through injuries, do you change up your practice routines, trying to save healthy bodies? Do you change any of that, or do you kind of keep going with what you have to develop the girls that are getting their opportunity?
We've always been pretty good about limiting practice time. We don't want to make it into a job. And usually by this time of year, going into the playoffs, we're only going to practice for about an hour to 75 minutes anyway. Yesterday was a light practice. There wasn't any contact, so we went pretty close to about 4:30. So we went about 90 minutes, and that's unusual. But, if there's any kind of contact or if it's a hard practice, we're not practicing more than 60 to 75 minutes these days anyway.
And obviously every year you graduate a bunch of girls and you have a new crop that come in as freshmen. How long, or maybe have you found it yet, like an identity for this team? Obviously Jordan took a lot of the maybe pressure off of you last year with what she was able to do, but has this team found an identity yet?
I think we're going to find an identity in the next 2 weeks. I think we struggled defensively at the beginning. We played a couple of games that we dominated, and we still lost. We gave up a couple of easy goals in each of those matches, but we're really not doing that anymore. So I think we're a pretty decent defensive team, but we play in our style of play, our system of play is a defensive system, but we sure attack a lot out of that system. Not usually how most teams attack. Usually If you play this system, you try to get a quick counter. You play defensively, you try to get a quick counter. We do that, but we also build an attack much more than teams who play a 4-2-3-1. So we'll see. We'll see how the season goes here at the end, but they'll know who they are here.
Yeah, well, and that defensive mindset, certainly, like you said, the last 9 halves, we've given up 1 goal. So, as this postseason, I guess the good news about the postseason, when we're playing low-scoring games, and we've got to try to find the net, at some point in time and keep the goals against us to a minimum. We do get the opportunity to have penalty kicks if needed in the postseason. Yeah, so
sure.
That is always an exciting thing. So maybe that is something that come down the path for the Pirates here as we hit the postseason. Let's talk about our seniors a little bit on this squad and how they lead this team. We had senior night earlier against Orange, and our 3 seniors, sort of taking the lead. As we want all of our seniors to do, right, across all of our programs. What have these 3 meant to our program here?
Well, they're real quiet. They don't make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
A couple of them, have probably said somewhere between 50 and 100 words in their 4 years here.
Right.
But for the most part, they're here all summer. A lot of them started in the spring.
Yeah.
They got their friends to come to the weight room to work with Chrisinger. But 2 of them are defensive players,
yeah.
and they've brought a lot of game experience. They've all been starting since they were freshmen. They bring a lot of game experience, and they settle down the kids. In big games. Today's a big game.
Yeah.
Berkshire. If you look at Max Props, they're ranked 11th
right.
In D4. We've got an 8 seed or an 8 number 8 team on Saturday.
Yeah.
Most of the kids have never played in a big game like that.
Yeah.
These guys let them know that it's just another game, and we'll take it 1 game at a time.
Yeah, it's awesome when you have that 4 years. So you have Adriana Polzer, you've got Chloe Carringer, you have Jocelyn Shorba. And as you've said, all of them have started, pretty much since their freshman year. So they're 4-year letter winners for our program, and that's what we announced the other night. And that's sort of a rare thing to see, have all of your seniors be 4-year starters. So I know that experience. You mentioned that Berkshire match tonight is going to be important. Our defense is going to have to continue to step up, and we'll try to find a counterattack and take care of the Badgers and rely on that senior leadership. If something doesn't go well, then they can look to them a little bit. And then Niles McKinley on Saturday. We scheduled Niles McKinley last year because we knew they were going to be very good. We knew they're going to be extremely strong, and they're going to be one of the best teams in Division IV. And we wanted to test ourselves before the tournament, and we'll certainly do that here over these next 2 matches.
And for you, Coach, you mentioned Jocelyn a little bit. She's going to join us later. What has she done this year? What garnered that nomination for Girls Athlete of the Week?
She's one of the anchors of our defense. She is such a physical player. I think she'd tell you she's not the most fleet of foot, but most people do not get by her, even if they're faster. She's not afraid to get physical. She stays within the rules of the game, of course, but she's not afraid to get physical. And, she's not worried about where she's playing. We've moved her all around. If we've needed her at midfield, she goes and she plays mid. We've needed her up top a couple of times. We've put her up top, so she's very versatile. And, I think she kind of sets the tone like real early in a game, particularly if the other team is on attack. The other players kind of pick up, on what it is that she's doing, but, they've also kind of learned they have to, when you're playing on a team like ours, we have 16 healthy players at the moment. You're going to have to play everywhere.
Yeah.
And so you can't get territorial about a spot. And I think she helps send that message for sure. But she was also one of those kids who was in the weight room, 3 times a week, 3 times a week, in the spring. And no one needed to tell her to do, to do that. And, other people came as a result.
All right, and so we've talked about Berkshire, Niles McKinley here to wrap up this week. We have one match next week, and that's always a big one with our rival down the street here in Madison. It's our Kick for the Cure game. It's at Madison at 5 p.m. on Wednesday. We'll talk about this a little bit later in the pod, Gene, but we have a unique schedule next week with a varsity football game on a Thursday night. We're off school on Friday, so trying something different, and therefore that our Kick for the Cure will be next Wednesday over at Madison at 5 p.m. Coach, what does that game mean? Obviously it's a rivalry game. Madison, we've been right there with them the last couple of years. They're not in our league, they're not in our division this year, so it's a non-league match to end the year. But what does that matchup with the Blue Streaks, look like?
It's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah.
It's their senior night.
Yeah.
And they usually graduate a few more kids than we do.
Yeah.
It's a little bit bigger program. They're definitely going to be pumped to play.
Yeah.
Our kids are always excited to play. It's going to be the first game that we actually play on grass
Yeah.
all year. So I think first 10 or 15 minutes, we've got to maintain our composure because the surface is going to be so different.
Yeah.
If you've never played on that field, it can be a little soft at times as
right.
well.
Yeah.
I think after that we'll probably be okay. But it always means a lot to our kids. They know everyone on the team.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty friendly rivalry.
Yeah.
And it has been since Coach Chad
Yeah.
has come on the scene.
Yeah, he does a nice job over there with the Blue Streaks program. Last year we tied them over here. Now we're back at Madison, as Coach said, with the grass. It's definitely how things have changed over the last 25 or 30 years. Used to be a home field advantage for us to have turf here and play on turf in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s, and now it's totally flipped. It's probably Madison's got a little bit of an advantage anytime somebody comes in to play them because everybody's so used to playing on turf.
You leave the grass a little higher, slow it down a little bit, right? You get your grounds crew to help make it a home field advantage.
Well, Coach Dragus, I think, sometimes has to line things over there himself and mow things, and maybe he'll forget. I don't know.
There are some teams who do that. We played a team many years ago that changed the layout of their field.
Oh.
They relined it. They made it a different size.
Yeah, a little shorter.
A little shorter,
Yeah.
a little narrower. It was back in it was before 2010.
Yeah.
Madison does not play that way.
Yeah.
Chad does not play that way.
Yeah.
So the grass will be cut as it's always cut. It will be lined. He's a great coach and such a good man. He does not play that way.
And with the postseason coming up, a draw coming up on Sunday, are you scoreboard watching? Are you trying to? When does your strategy for the postseason start to begin?
We'll see what happens tonight. There are a lot of games tonight. With a good showing tonight, things can really change for us. Although all the team bios and records were submitted by midnight last night. People are still watching. If we can do well, against a superb team, we can move up. We can definitely move up and get a little bit better seed. But we'll see once that happens. We'll probably, the boss and Carino and I will probably get together sometime tomorrow or on Saturday and start talking about what we're going to do.
Yeah, it's maybe a little dive behind the curtain, so to speak. For those of you who don't know, so the way our postseason seeding happens is the coaches all of Northeast Ohio. We're in Division 4. We have 35 to 40 teams in that range, and we have to rank them and seed them, and that'll all be done by Saturday. And then on Sunday, we have a virtual Zoom meeting where the coaches, we have 4 or 5 different brackets that we can go into, and that's really coach preference at that point. You can go anywhere you want on the bracket. You might have a district final game down in Worcester if you'd like, or you could have one over in Geneva if you'd like. But depending on which teams are where, coaches have the ability to go on that board, if you will, anywhere they want, and we'll sort of monitor that. And like Coach said, we'll take a look and talk things through and try to get our teams the best draw. And again, I think I've already said it. I think we'll probably be a little. My guess is, based on our numbers, if people look at 3, 7, and 4, they're probably potentially not gonna see this. But like Coach said, Max Preps helps that out. But we'll probably be not seated as high as I think our team is from a quality of our standpoint of our team. So I think there's potential to see some things happen here in the postseason that could be exciting. So,
Who gets the final say? It's coach, it's you, it's Karina. It's coach. Who's the tiebreaker
the head
decide
coach.
Where you want to go?
The head coach, and he and Karina work well together, I would say, right?
Yeah. Carino has really good instincts about it, and normally we'll talk about it, but generally, if she thinks something different than I do, and the boss is indifferent about it, or he thinks something else, I found it's generally good to go with what Carino says.
Yeah.
She does a lot of studying. I do too, but sometimes she's a little bit more realistic about the potential outcomes.
Good. Well, an exciting time of year. Best of luck tonight, Coach, against Berkshire, and then Niles on Saturday, Madison. Kick for the Cure match. Come on over. We've got a lot happening at Madison next week, so 5 p.m. girls soccer, 5 p.m. volleyball, freshman JV varsity volleyball at Madison, and then our boys soccer will play at 7 p.m. So we're all over Madison next week. Come out down the street on Middle Ridge and support our teams. Thanks for being here, Coach. Appreciate the time. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, Coach.
I'm always
Yeah.
weird. There you go.
Yeah.
Should I move back? Should I not? All right, Coach Dave, our head girls soccer coach here, his 21st season. And, an exciting time of year. The draw is always, exciting and interesting. And you get to see, are you going to get to play at home? Where do you have to go on the road? Who your opponents are? All of that will be known here by 2 p.m. on Sunday.
And just like girls soccer, boys soccer, they're on a little bit of a win streak. 2 wins since the last time we had this show. And, kind of going in that same direction they went in last year, where they started to pick up steam as the postseason began.
Yeah, for sure. And you're just always looking to improve. I think across all of our programs, our goal is, you don't want to be peaking at the beginning of the season and start out 6-0, but then end 6-6 as an example. You want to be playing your best at the end, and I think we are. We might have found sort of our identity. Coach Dave, they're very defensive minded right now, and that's okay because it's keeping us in games and it's giving us a chance to win and again get as high of a seed as possible for this meeting on Sunday.
And they have a game here tonight on Thursday. They have 3 games remaining in the regular season, all on the road.
Right.
But that playoff seeding, so do the girls go first, boys follow, or are they both at the same time? How does that work?
They'll do that all at the same time.
Okay.
Virtual Zoom meetings so there's an athletic director. The Northeast District Board does a very good job in the Northeast District of putting it all together, organizing it all. There's somebody that runs soccer, there's somebody who runs volleyball, and then girls soccer. All 3 of those meetings are Sunday, and then so we'll know where everybody's going by Sunday afternoon in all 3 of those sports. And so, and they have different days. So, like, obviously, they know a boys' game and a girls' game. If to play at home on the same day, you really can't do that. It's really hard to do for a postseason match. So, there's different days that is already pre-programmed. We know what days we'll potentially play. Like, the girls will play October 14th. The boys will play the 15th. We just don't know where and against who yet. So
now, do you get both coaches here on Sunday? Do they do that virtually from their house? How does that work?
A little bit of both. I've seen it done both ways. I would say primarily they do it from their computer or from their phone at home. Sometimes they come in because they'll want access to more information or have their laptop here and their computer here and be looking things up as we go you have 3 minutes to make a decision. So it's you start with, again, let's just use 40 teams in our district. We'll rank them 1 through 40. We're probably going to be in the 20 range. And then so the 1 goes, 2 goes, 3 goes up on the board, and things start coming into play, and you see where all right, I definitely probably want to avoid the 1 seed,
Sure.
and probably the 2 seed, but where's the best chance for us to make a long of a run as possible? And so now you're looking up, and if you're not familiar with the team, last year, as an example, Ravenna Southeast, also the Pirates, by the way, didn't know much about them. They were undefeated. They were 17-0 and ranked very, very high. As it turned out, they ended up getting beat in the district. So we tried to do some research on them, and I think ultimately we decided to stay away because that record was intimidating, but they also didn't play the greatest competition. But so things like that, they may want to look up things on the fly, because once they call your number, you've got 3 minutes to go on the board, or they put you somewhere. So
by this time next week, we'll know both where the boys and girls soccer teams will be playing in the postseason. On to the golf side, both boys and girls wrapped up their seasons. Let's start with the boys first, because we only have one to talk about, since we talked about sectionals last week. Their districts happened on Tuesday of this week.
Yes, they were down at Windmill Lakes in Ravenna at the Kent State University home course. Very nice course down in Windmill. And we played well. Overall, we had, our team was made up, as we've talked, with 3 freshmen, 2 juniors, and a senior. So we're very young, and we're sort of poised to make a nice run again next year. So our idea going into it was, of course, you want to go out there and compete, and if you can go down and make it to state this year as a team, let's do it. We get an individual down to state, let's do that. We came very close on the individual side. So Benny Dame ended up with a 77. He shot very well, was consistent throughout the day, and had a putt actually on the final hole that would have put him at 75. He missed that putt. It was about, like I said, I think a 20-footer. Ran it by a little bit, finished with a 77. 75 ended up with being a playoff between two other boys, and he would have been in that playoff at 75. So he was that close he's right on the cusp, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Right there, he played very well. All of our kids played well for being in that sort of pressure cooker for the first time, at a district tournament together as a team. It was an impressive day. I'm very proud of them for accomplishing that, and I'm looking forward to next year and beyond, because this team will, Russell Ford was our only senior, and we appreciate everything he's done and wish him nothing but the best. But we are going to be sort of back and better than ever, if you will. Next year we'll have 5 returners who got an entire year of experience, and I'm sure we'll find our 6th person and go from there. So.
And I wish I would have kept the scores from last week, because I think each individual on the boys' side improved from what they shot at districts to where they were in sectionals. I know Rupert took almost 10 strokes off of what he did the previous week.
Yeah, and it's just, at this point, it's all about experience, right? It's just about getting, putting yourself in that situation. So when they go to districts next year, and I'm not putting any undue pressure on them, because that will be their goal to put, to get back to that point at a minimum. So when they're there next year, they're ready to go, and they're ready to sort of exceed what they've done this year.
And on the girls' side, Coach Walker in his first year with the program. Let's start with sectionals first, because they were, I want to say, playing, or they were playing the next day when we taped last week. So let's start there, and then we'll work our way to districts.
Yeah. So played out at Punderson. Again, a very tough course. I was talking to somebody the other day that had said some coaches were telling. The 8th hole is an extremely long hole with this pond in the middle of it, and they would tell their girls, go ahead and hit it into the pond off the tee, because then you get to drop over the pond. So just to give you an idea, it's a challenging course. And so, our girls went out there and played their tails off, and we ended up qualifying Jillian Peters on the districts. We've had Jill on earlier this year in the pod, and that was her goal. So hats off to her for accomplishing that goal. She shot 81 and got out to the district. She played at districts yesterday down at Good Park in Akron, and she finished in the top 25%. Now, they don't take the top 25% onto the state meet, but There were about 100 golfers out there. She finished 24th. And, again, shot 91 yesterday. Challenging course, long day. Very, very backed up. I don't know how if they didn't do the holes well. It was about a 6-hour round of golf, which is extremely long period of time, and so there was a lot of waiting on every holes. But she finished up her career. She accomplished her goals, and hats off to Jill and the rest of the girls golf team this year.
And tennis will continue on there. They started on Tuesday with their districts. They're going to finish up here today on Thursday, but they end the regular season with a win against Mentor, but more importantly, that district run that they had on Tuesday was some phenomenal tennis to watch.
It really was, and I talked with Coach Morris yesterday, congratulated her, and a shout out to all of our girls that played at sectionals on Tuesday. We went 8-1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was not anything beyond our wildest dreams. We thought, all right, if we can get some people on a Thursday, we're going to, obviously that's the goal always, right, to keep going, but to go 8-1, as a team and qualify 2 singles and both doubles teams out to today to our quarterfinals. So they will play at 3 p.m. today back at Hawken. So let's just recap it. Laurel French had 2 wins. Kira Haviland with 2 wins, and she took down the West Geauga #1 player. That was a long match to start the day, and she came back and got another win. And Quincy Ryan was our only loss, but she had a tough 3-set loss and was right there, lost in the tiebreaker. I think it was 10-7 in the tiebreaker, so down to just a couple of points either here or there. We would have 9-0 if she would have done that. Haley Green and Kaylee Erickson with 2 wins, and Peyton Winters and Ava Denholm, are the other doubles team that is qualified for today. And so now we've got a shot. All 4 of those, our 2 singles and our 2 doubles, are 1 match away from qualifying for districts. So hats off to them.
Yeah, and then on the doubles side of the 8 teams remaining, Perry has 2, Hawken has 2, NDCL has 2, and then you have, I think, Madison and somebody else. I wish I would have wrote it down, but it's the groups kind of advanced together, which was nice to see.
Yeah, excellent.
And for Haley and Kaylee as well. They had to sit. I felt kind of bad for them. It was, I want to say, almost 1 o'clock before they played their first match after getting there at 8 a.m. and then basically had to play back-to-back games. I think they had a half hour off, and they were back on after waiting all day. But congratulations to them, and best of luck today as they continue on sectionals. Volleyball, all they do is continue to win.
Yeah, we're
continue
rolling,
to put up 3-0 victories. They had 3 more wins since the last time we were on. Orange, West G, and Harvey.
Yeah, and we're keeping that CVC roll going. We clinched our championship for the Chagrin Valley Conference back-to-back years now. So with that win on Harvey and senior night, where we recognized our 6 seniors for all that they've done and thank them for all the leadership and play that they've given to us, and obviously a very talented group to win back-to-back CVC championships is not an easy accomplishment. Sometimes when you get into those back-to-back or 3 years in a row or 4 or 5, we've been lucky enough to have some of those. It's sort of like ho-hum, just it's business as usual, and you don't maybe appreciate it as much, but you really should. It's something that to win a conference championship is a special thing, and so hats off to the volleyball team for wrapping that up on Tuesday night. We're going to be sole champs of the CVC. We host a Kirtland tonight in a non-conference matchup, and the Hornets are very good. It should be a fun match to watch. So we've got a lot going on here at the school this afternoon. We've got a freshman football game at 4, a middle school soccer match at 5:30 in the stadium, and then the girls soccer at 7. Volleyball's inside. So come on out. I know you got your Tribe shirt on. Tribe's playing at 3. Come on out. They should be done by 5:30, just in time for you to come out here and watch the Pirates tonight.
And the girls, as you mentioned, play today, but also a tournament coming up this weekend.
Saturday is our annual Perry Invitational. So we have 6 teams coming here. So we've got 2 rounds of pool play that start at 9 o'clock, 9, 10:15, and then we'll have our championship match just around 12:30, 12:45 on Saturday. So with 6 teams coming in, it's a little unique. When we booked this last year, we do all of our scheduling about a year in advance. We have North, South coming in, Madison, Berkshire, Perry, and who am I forgetting? Madison. So all of them now are in the CVC. Last year was not completely a CVC tournament, but as it turns out, all of the teams are in the Chagrin Valley Conference, so it should be a great day of volleyball here Saturday morning starting at 9 a.m. at both the field house. We'll have 2 courts in the field house, 1 court in the main gym.
And then the last fall sport before we get to our athletes of the week,
Yep.
football, they continue with another impressive win on homecoming, 41-6 win over Lutheran West.
Yep, took care of business. We knew we were going to be favored in that game to win, just based on some records and things of that on the Lutheran West side. But our kid, I give them credit. We came out and executed, did what we need to do on both sides of the ball and special teams. And we got some young guys to go in there and be able to play in the second half, which that experience is invaluable.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can do that, and of course you don't ever want your starters to be complacent or not get enough plays. But after our first 5 weeks of who we've played, when we went 3-2, we're coming off an overtime game at Geneva. To get those guys a little bit of a break and get some young kids in, and that experience for them, I think it was exciting to do it on homecoming. And I know we're back on the road.
Yep.
This week at Orange, Friday night at Orange, and then next week, as if you don't know, we're Thursday night. I've heard starting to hear some comments as we get closer to that date. Oh, I didn't know. So we're trying to get the word out as best we can. Thursday night, home football against Harvey at 7 p.m. So just a little change up from the normal. Friday night, again, we're off school. It's fall break, whatever you want to call it, on the Friday the 10th. So we're playing Thursday night the 9th against the Harvey Red Raiders.
And right now, football 4-2. They're 8th in top of the crop. They're 4th in the computer rankings. The second one came out on Monday or Tuesday of this week. So a lot of positive momentum going in the right direction for the football team. And of course, last year beat Orange 62-0, 13 straight wins. I know you don't like that kind of stuff, but last loss coming in 2011, and a number of the football players all scattered across the league leaders in the News Herald. So along with volleyball as well, and most of the fall sports here at Perry.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, check out the News Herald. They do a great job of recognizing our kids, all of the kids in the area with the stats, and we're always proud when we have a bunch of them up there. And we do on both, especially football and volleyball. We've got them all ranked all over there, so check that out. But it's an exciting time of year. Here we go.
Yeah, and the only one we haven't talked about yet was cross country, but I know that will get covered with our student athlete, and we'll circle back and kind of bookend this with girls soccer.
Yeah, and so without further ado, let's call our athletes of the week are here with us. Let's call up Landon. We'll get him up here and situated.
Which is good because cross country is one that we haven't talked about yet. They've had that a great run, not no pun intended, but throughout this season. And when Coach Thomas joined us a couple weeks ago, just had nothing but great things to say about the program, and another good run this past weekend in Madison.
Definitely. All right, and Landon, welcome to the show. There's your certificate. He's been here before, but you get your DQ. Thank you to the Perry Dairy Queen for all that they do for our athletes of the week. Landon, welcome and congratulations. Coach Thomas just was raving about you here this past weekend at the You Want to Come Back. You ran a 17:22. That's a PR, correct?
Yeah.
And this is the crazy part. So tell me if this is a typo. You beat your previous PR by over 50 seconds?
Yeah.
Really? That's almost a minute. That's insane.
So what has changed then? Well, from maybe race one or even last year to where you are now to get that speed up?
I mean, last year was definitely an off year. I was 19s the whole year. My freshman year, I was low 18s. So getting in the 17s was definitely, I wanted it to happen. And I knew Madison, it's a really flat course. That's the course to PR. It's our district course. So I knew after our tri-meet that, I just needed to get everything situated, preparation, practices, everything needs to be perfect. And, it showed.
Yeah, for sure. 17:22 to cut 50 seconds. Now you finished 67th, which that doesn't sound like a great number, but I can tell you that it is because there are literally just tons and tons of schools there. Like Landon said, it's our district course, so teams from all over the Northeast are coming here because they want to be on the course, they want to preview it for the district meet that'll be coming up in middle of October. So, all kinds of Division I, huge schools from all over the place. So it's really an accomplishment, and congrats on that 52nd best PR there. That's awesome.
And you mentioned knowing Madison being kind of a flatter course.
Yeah.
Do you practice going into that week running, maybe a different route in Perry to try to, duplicate what you're going to see on Saturday?
I mean, we have our workouts, and she tries each week to, make it a little bit faster, or our goal pace, what we want to run. And I mean, I was right on pace for our workouts, so I knew I could have done something good at Madison.
And as you're going through it, do you know in your mind, I'm moving today. Like I'm going to capture this and not shave off a whole second, but maybe inch closer and closer to getting that PR.
Yeah, I mean, after the 2 miles was a bit rough. My second mile was a little bit slower, but the third mile I ran like a 5:29 pace.
Wow.
So I was definitely feeling a lot better. And
So the other stat that Coach Thomas gave today a little bit, she says you're the second fastest cross-country wrestler
yeah,
ever. Aaron Gessick is the only one that's
Yeah.
still got. What's his time? Do you know it?
it's like mid-16s, I want
Okay.
to say.
So you got a little bit, another 50 seconds off, and you'll be there.
Maybe next year.
Okay, yeah, maybe next year. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about your off season, because I think Coach Thomas raved about that when she nominated you. She's like, listen, the kid's nonstop. He's working. He's doing the Coach Christinger workouts. He's in the weight room. He's getting his miles in. He's doing his training. How does your off season? When do you start? So again, we know you're a wrestler. Your season ends in March. Mid-March is the state tournament. What are you doing from? Just take us behind the scenes a little bit. Mid-March to August 1, when official fall practice starts. Are you taking a little bit of time off at the end of wrestling? When do you start hitting the road, so to speak, or start to get the miles on for the cross country season?
Well, I was supposed to take a break after wrestling, but
Okay.
I got a little bored, so
Yeah.
I showed up to track.
Okay.
But about midway, I had a fractured back, so I was on the elliptical for a while, and then I got to run at districts, and I got a 6-second PR on the 800. So that just fueled me to, want to do good in cross country. I was talking with Noah Gromick that we're going to do as much as we can this season to really drop down our time, and I just focused on that the whole summer, for training. Anything Thomas asked, I just did it. No excuses.
Okay.
And how has Coach Christinger benefited? Not maybe just for cross country, maybe for wrestling too, but having him as a resource to help mold you and get you to where you want to be.
I mean, his strength training, it's one of a kind. He really morphs you, I guess you could say, or he works around you. Because now I'm in my taper phase, so he's gonna make the workouts not as much hard as they were.
Mhm.
So he really works around you and benefits you a lot.
Yeah, so he'll mold it to essentially what sport you're doing, or to the athlete. So like you said, you're in the point of the season now where you've put the work in, and not that you're going to do nothing and just sit on your butt for the next 2 weeks until postseason starts, but you are going to start to take it down. So similar to swimming, you see that word taper in the swim season as well. They're going to start to they crush it the first 2 months of the year, and then they slowly. So they're sort of saving themselves for that postseason run. So when it comes to postseason, we've got Chagrin Valley Conference championships coming up on Saturday, the 11th of October, and then districts back at Madison on the 18th. What are some of your goals for you, for our team, as we approach that postseason time?
For CVC, I definitely want a medal. Get top 10 around there.
Yep.
That's where Thomas wants me at.
Yep.
Our team, we can definitely do something. We don't have a full team, but
Right.
I think a lot of us can get out there. Race good. Maybe some of us, 2-3 of us, can medal.
Okay.
Definitely put us in that conversation. And then districts, I want to make it out to regionals. Maybe get in the 16s at Madison again.
Right.
So that'd be a big goal for me.
Okay. Awesome.
And you're running on the guy side with Hunter and Matthew, right? Those are the other two. How do they help push you? How do you help push them where, ultimately the goal is to each of you and to improve?
We definitely push each other through workouts. You know, we uplift each other because, you know, Hunter, he hurt his foot. Matthew, he was having foot problems, but he's back now. You know, I really think they can do some good stuff this year. Hunter, he's first-year runner. He's doing awesome. And I really think Matthew, he can maybe get low 18s if he really puts himself to it.
And you kind of alluded to, you know, you joined track, you kind of bored, so you joined into that. When did you get interested in cross country?
When did I get into wrestling and cross
No,
country?
I'm sorry, when did you get interested in running and doing cross country? Because I know your primary is wrestling, so
Yeah.
how did cross country become something that you were interested in doing?
I mean, I joined it in 8th grade because I don't know if you ever seen the movie McFarlane.
No.
I think so.
It's this movie. It's on Disney Plus. But I met like the coaches and all the runners. So, I mean, my mom always wanted me to do it. She was a runner. My dad used to run, and they always wanted me to run. So I guess I tried it, and I was.
Well, it certainly
decent at
gets
it.
you in good shape for the wrestling season. So.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to ask. How does cross country or track help you get ready for wrestling? Is it, you know, the endurance? Is it, because again, in wrestling, you're going, you know, a round of mat, not, you know, running 3 miles.
I mean, it definitely helps me stay in shape, and definitely mental aspect. You know, it lets me push farther, push harder, and it just changes my mental game for wrestling. You know, I can go triple overtime, and I won't have an issue with it.
And what plans for wrestling? Just a little sneak peek as we approach, you know, that season. What weight class are you looking at? Any plans yet, or we're just sort of finishing out the fall and then we'll see where we're at?
I'm probably gonna go 126, 132 around there.
Right.
I mean, we've been going up to the room twice a week, 3 times. You know, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturday or Sundays, depending.
And obviously, you made it down to states last year. So, how does that experience help kind of fuel you here as you know, kind of are starting to approach your junior year?
I definitely want to get on the podium this year. You know, last year I lost in the blood round, and you know, I think nerves, that was a big issue for me. I got real nervous before the match. You know, I was sitting there, I wasn't warming up good, and I can do better.
And I think just that experience, we've talked about it already with our golf team, already sort of looking ahead to next year. Having the experience at the district meet, having that experience at the state meet will certainly help you. You're going to be a lot more comfortable, a lot less nervous as you go into this year and into that experience. So, Lena, thanks for being here with us. We appreciate it. Before we let you go, just some, you remember maybe the drill from last year here. We won't hold you. You can change your answers. We won't go back and look. Favorite food?
Chicken wings.
Chicken wings. All right. Any particular place?
Still
You
Mr.
like
Lee's.
Mr. Lee's.
Flavor?
Oh, that's
Ooh,
good.
cinnamon chipotle.
Ooh,
Chipotle.
excellent. I didn't even know they had. I know they have like 80 flavors.
You're right.
It's real good.
Favorite subject in school?
Science.
Science. All right. Favorite movie or television show series? Anything in that realm?
Grown-ups too.
Okay. Hobby. Any hobbies? I think this is a new question. This is all, you know, you're a runner. You've got track. You've got cross country. You've got wrestling. You're a busy guy. You said you got bored. That's why you went to do track. Any hobbies outside of all of your athletics here at Perry?
I'm a big music person. You know,
Okay.
I collect vinyls and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Favorite app? This is new too. Favorite app or game on your phone?
On my phone, probably Clash Royale.
Okay. You play that one?
I do not. I've seen a bunch of ads for
Okay,
it. That-
okay.
I might have to add that one.
Yeah, okay. That's a good one. Favorite memory from Perry? That one's changed a little bit as well from last year. So we used to say athletics, but you know, from elementary to middle to high school, any of your experiences, you're a junior now, that you're going to take away from here, what are some of your favorites?
It's between two. It's either,
Yeah.
you know, hanging out with my friends, you know, just doing stuff with them,
Yeah.
or probably qualifying for state.
Say wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then if you could visit any place in the world, where are you headed?
Shoot, that's a hard one. Probably somewhere in Europe.
Okay.
One of those countries.
Go check it out for the different world over there. So,
Yeah.
all right, Landon, congratulations on a great year so far. Good luck the rest of the year. We'll keep everybody updated as we go.
Thank you.
All right, Landon Rusnak, boys cross country, our male athlete of the week.
Yeah. I mean, again, when you said that this morning about shaving almost a whole second
Yeah.
off of the time for a new PR, like I had to go back and look. I went to the News Herald to make sure at the time. Not that I didn't trust Coach
Yeah,
Thomas, but
right.
just to see it. I went
Yeah.
to Ben's Twitter,
Yeah.
and Herrick. It was just an amazing feat from and obviously that's the goals that you're striving for. And
Sure.
Coach Thomas talked about it.
Yeah.
You want to get new PRs each week and set yourself up for the postseason.
But it's certainly not common to see 50 seconds knocked off your PR in one sort of
Yes.
fell swoop, so to speak. So congratulations to Landon and the rest, and Coach Thomas and the rest of the cross country team. As again, we're sort of broken record here. We're heading into the postseason, and they're getting ready to go. So, all right, let's bring up our female athlete of the week. She is Jocelyn Chorba from girls soccer. And we've talked to Coach Stavar already today. And Jocelyn, thanks for being here. Congratulations on being our athlete of the week. There's your meal deal from DQ. Yeah, thanks for being here. We have a big match tonight with Berkshire. And have we talked, coaches talked to you guys about some of their strengths? Obviously, they're a very good team. Our next two opponents are very strong. But what are we looking for tonight from this match with Berkshire?
I'm just hoping for a tie.
Yeah, right. It's weird to say that, right? Because
Yeah.
it's some people may even know that that's possible. But in high school soccer, as we've said already, a tie is not always a bad thing.
We're pretty good at keeping it 0-0.
Yeah.
I've never tied this much any game.
Yeah, we have 4 this year.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And a lot, but we've seen a transition a little bit of, we beat Ursuline early in the year 2-1. Probably should have been 2-0. We beat Riverside 4-1. But from that point on, it's been a little bit of a struggle putting the ball in the net. But as Coach Stavar said, he raved about our defense, and one reason you're sitting here next to us today is because you're on the defensive side of the ball, and that's sort of our goal, is just not to let any goals in, and if we can find a way to get one scored, we can win 1-0, and it's sort of changed our mentality a little bit. But how has that helped you as a defender? Does that put more onus on you, more pressure on you to know that it's really hard? If we give up too many goals back there, it's probably not going to go our way.
I'd say at this point I'm just happy that we are keeping it steady, I guess, because
Yeah.
we do have a young defense.
Mhm.
It's me and this other senior, but sometimes she doesn't play defense, so I have to take charge of the back, and I actually enjoy doing it. I'm not really nervous about it. I'm just making sure that everyone has a good time, because we have freshmen in the back.
Yeah.
So I want to enjoy, make sure they enjoy it, because
Yeah.
they're going to be there next year.
Sure, that's awesome. That's a good way to think about it.
And how do you? Obviously they're probably receptive to it, but how do you, kind of keep that competitive flair a little bit, where you're still trying to keep it fun and keep it loose?
Mainly because I just I coach them during it. So when
Okay.
something happens, if we get during halftime, me and the other senior we'll get in a huddle with the defense, and then we'll talk about everything that we need to work on, and then I don't know if anyone's noticed, but defense, we have this certain handshake we do before.
Okay.
Katie does it with us with the
Okay.
goalies, and I don't know how to explain it, but we just high five each other. It's a little thing we do before each game, so we all kind of have that connection.
Have you always been a defender, even going back to rec, middle school, since you've been here on the varsity level?
My freshman year, I was up front, I was forward, and I thought I was all right at it. And then my sophomore year, I kind of changed. I was they put me where I was needed, kind of
Yeah.
anywhere. And then starting my junior year, they liked me at defense, so they kept me back there ever since.
Is it tough to buy into playing defense? Obviously, as someone that was playing the front and going to score, was it hard to transition back, or was it kind of a role that you understood and accepted? and excelled?
At first, I was not happy with them. I was I'm too scared to be back here.
Yeah.
I'd rather be up front and scoring the goals. But after a couple games, I truly actually did enjoy it, and I think I'm a better fit back there.
And then let's talk about our other seniors, Chloe Carringer, Adriana Polzer. We had senior night for you guys the other night. What has it meant playing with those other two girls? All 4 years. We talked about that with Coach Stavar. It's rare to see, your entire senior group be 4-year letter winners like that. So you guys have sort of been in it from the beginning, and what have those two meant to you?
I've been playing with Adriana for a lot longer than
Yeah.
Chloe. I think I played in like 7th and 8th grade with Adriana and a little bit of club with her. So
Okay.
I've known her for a while. And then Chloe I met in high school, and I've actually got really close with her.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like it's just the 3 seniors like all
Yeah.
together, and like we have really good bonds, so it makes it easier to like be leaders. And
Yeah.
And
Great.
that changed this year for you? Obviously, the senior class graduates from last year. You know the 3 of you are going to be the lone seniors to kind of help, mold this team and try to, I don't want to say rebuild, but, try to get the underclassmen going in the right direction. Did you feel any added pressure of trying to be a leader?
Not really. I was just happy to like be the leader and like coach them and like be like a role model. Like I wasn't ever really nervous. I was kind of excited.
So was Coach Stavar kind of leading us on a little bit? I mean, he basically said he said 50 words in your 4 years here, but being
Yeah.
a leader, you seem like someone that has, maybe rallied the troops and kept things going for this team.
I've always been a little bit bossy, like not in like a bad way, just
Yeah.
always like, just kind of like always keeping people in line, like, not that sounds kind of bad, but like
No,
making
no, I think we
sure
know what you
everyone
mean.
like is on the right page. So
Yeah.
it wasn't really much of a difference when I got like the actual title.
And Coach Stavar, Coach Carino, what have they meant to you in your development, and you just what have they meant to you?
They actually mean quite a lot to me because they have coached me all 4 years, and I wasn't as good when I first started, and like they kept up with me, and they've been patient. I mean, as much as they could.
Yeah.
But I really do enjoy like being like their team, and I'm glad that they were my coaches.
That's awesome. And then what would you say the biggest improvement that you've made, whether it's either the 4 years here in soccer or even when you started playing, from the time you first stepped on the field until now, what's been your biggest thing that you've improved on?
I would say my confidence.
Okay.
Like I play with a lot more confidence than I ever have because I was like a little freshman and sophomore, and
Yeah.
like playing with there was like so many seniors.
Same.
It was like I was kind of like in the dark, and I was like insecure about my playing because like there was 12 people better than me. So
And as being one of the leaders, is there a underclassman, sophomore, freshman that you see right now and you think, you know what, this person is going in the right direction? They're going to be the next whomever.
I would say like all of our sophomores really like I think a bunch of our sophomores start like Aubrey Hopkins, Sophie, Bree, and like Haley. Like they're all starters. They've all shown a lot, and they can do a lot. Like I think their senior year, it's gonna be a pretty good team.
Good. And then, whenever your soccer career comes to an end, which, again, we hope it doesn't anytime soon, right? We have 3 matches left. We have Berkshire tonight at home, and then we're on the road for Niles McKinley and Madison, and then our postseason run. What is the one thing you're going to miss about soccer?
I would just say just playing it in general because obviously when high school ends, I'm not gonna like go into college in my high
Yeah.
school. So I think having like a huge team that I can like go to every day after school and
Yeah.
play with, like that's what I'm gonna miss the most.
Yeah.
And as it starts to come back, how important are the bus rides with the girls, and that little bit of bonding? There's obviously no overnights, but
Yeah.
being able to be with this group and this group we talked about the seniors, but this entire group is meant to you.
I think this group this year has been the best group I play with so far, and like the bus rides, like it's always fun because like, everyone's talking and like everyone wants to talk to each other. The bus driver's always yelling at us because we're in the aisle, we're talking, and we always like joke around, and like I just think it's the best year that I've ever had with them.
All right, so Jocelyn, we have our postseason will start here on October 14th. We don't know if we're hosting, if we're on the road, but we've talked a little bit about our strategies, and we're a defensive-minded team and all those things. So if we end in a 0-0 tie or a 1-1 tie, we've got to take, and then we go to overtime, 15-minute overtime, and a second 15-minute overtime. Then it's penalty kicks. Have you ever taken a penalty kick Are you ready to take a penalty kick if we have to get in that situation? Are we practicing them yet?
We
or-
are practicing
Okay,
them. We
okay.
have like our 5 teams.
Okay.
I mean, like groups of 5.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I've ever took a PK. I can't remember,
Okay.
but I think I'm ready for one if I ever have to take one.
Okay.
So.
Well, we can in the postseason. That's the one thing we can't have ties, so got to get to PKs sometimes.
Yeah.
But best of luck against the Badgers tonight at 7 p.m. in Alumni Stadium. Niles McKinley Saturday, and then the kick for the Cure game against our rival Madison next week. And that will really be my last question for you before we get to the get to know you part. What does it mean to play against the Blue Streaks in that rivalry game and the kick for the Cure match next week?
It's always like a big game to
Yeah.
us. Like every year, we're always like we need to beat them, but
Yeah.
I don't think we beat them past 3 years. But I think this year we actually have a shot to beat them,
Okay.
and it would mean a lot to like us 3 seniors because
Yeah.
like we've been trying every year
Yeah.
and like at least go out with like that, like
Yeah.
a win against them.
It'd be huge. And they're not in our division this year, as we've said earlier, but still, anytime we're playing the Blue Streaks, it's a big-time rivalry game, and we'd love to get the W next week down the street at Madison. So, Jocelyn, before we get you out of here, you heard the questions with Landon, so you get a little bit of a head start here, maybe thinking
I was
about them.
thinking over
there. Favorite food?
I would say buffalo chicken dip.
Okay. Like homemade?
Yes,
Yeah,
like my
like-
aunt makes the
Yeah,
best
okay,
one. Yes.
I'm a connoisseur of buffalo chicken dip, so that would be interesting to me. Favorite subject in school?
Math.
Math. Okay. Favorite movie or show?
I would say favorite show is How I Met Your Mother.
Okay. Hobbies? Any hobbies outside of your soccer stuff or any other school activities?
I do nails like for
Okay.
a bunch of my friends and family, and I have
I was
like
gonna say your nails. Are
Yeah,
pretty
I
good.
have-
Show them off. They're like 3 different colors here. She's
yeah, they're
pretty
my
impressive.
homecoming nails. I like
Okay.
I get a little money off of it, like
Okay.
doing friends and family. So yeah,
Okay. Awesome. Favorite app or game on your phone?
probably TikTok.
Okay.
I spend a lot of time
That's
on
all
there.
right. Favorite memory from Perry. So whether it's elementary, middle, high, you know the deal. You're going to graduate here in about 6 months. You walk across that stage. What are you going to look back and take away from Perry when you do?
Probably just all the people I've met and like relationships I build, because every year I make a bunch of new friends. So
Awesome.
that's the thing.
That's great. That'll service you well in the future for sure as you head off to school or whatever you're going to do in the world. So, and then speaking of the world, where would you visit in the world if money was an object? You go anywhere you want.
I would go to Jamaica because my parents got married there.
Awesome.
And I just want to go down there and
That's
see.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good answer. Jocelyn, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Congratulations on being our Athlete of the Week. Best of luck the rest of the season. We'll update everybody as we go. All right, Jocelyn Shorba, Female Athlete of the Week, girls soccer.
Yeah, a lot going on with soccer. The draws coming up for both boys and girls, but a lot of action coming up on Thursday. A lot of home events leading into the volleyball tournament coming up on Saturday.
Yep, for sure. Again, Guardians game at 3.
Yep.
Should be over by about 5:30. Come on out and cheer on the Pirates tonight. Obviously, go Guards. Hopefully, they can get it done. But yeah, we're really sort of at that peak right before we're going to hit a little bit of a lull as we just head into postseason because freshmen will be done, JV will be done. It'll just be our varsity teams competing in that postseason. But we're looking forward to it. It's an exciting time, and we wish all of our teams the best of luck.
Yeah, it's going to be another exciting week, and we'll have a couple of season or teams coming to an end next week, and
Yep.
A couple more making that push for the postseason.
Yep. So we're on to week 7. Come back next week for week 7. But until then, go Pirates.